Breakups hurt in a way that often feels disproportionate to logic, as if something inside the body is reacting to emotional loss like physical injury. This is not an exaggeration of feeling, but a reflection of how deeply human attachment systems are wired to treat emotional bonds as survival mechanisms. When a relationship ends, the brain does not interpret it as a simple social change, but as a disruption of safety, identity, and stability. That is why heartbreak is not only emotional, but also biological, psychological, and physical at the same time. At the core of this experience is the brain's attachment system, which evolved to keep humans connected to caregivers and close relationships for survival. When a bond is formed, the brain begins to treat that person as a source of safety, comfort, and emotional regulation in daily life. Losing that bond activates the same internal alarm systems that respond to danger, threat, or physical harm in the environment. This is why emotional separation can feel like the body is reacting to something physically wrong or deeply unsafe occurring. Neuroscience shows that social rejection and physical pain share overlapping brain pathways, especially in regions that process distress and threat. When a breakup happens, areas of the brain associated with physical pain can become active in ways similar to actual bodily injury responses. This overlap helps explain why heartbreak can feel like tightness in the chest, heaviness in the body, or even nausea and fatigue. The mind is not simply thinking about loss, but the body is actively responding as if something essential has been taken away. Another reason breakups feel physically painful is the sudden withdrawal from emotional reward systems built during the relationship itself. Love relationships stimulate dopamine, oxytocin, and other neurochemicals associated with bonding, pleasure, and emotional security over time. When the relationship ends, the brain experiences a sudden drop in these chemical signals, similar to withdrawal from an addictive substance. This creates cravings, emotional restlessness, and a constant pull toward memories, contact, or thoughts of the former partner. The brain also struggles with prediction errors after a breakup because it had built expectations about the future with that person in it. Daily routines, imagined plans, and emotional assumptions become suddenly invalid, forcing the mind to continuously reprocess lost expectations. This mental reorganization requires significant cognitive energy, which contributes to exhaustion, confusion, and emotional overwhelm during heartbreak. The pain is not only about loss, but also about the brain trying to update an internal model of reality that has been disrupted. Attachment theory also explains why breakups feel so intense, especially for individuals with strong emotional bonding or insecure attachment styles. When a deeply attached bond is broken, the nervous system reacts with protest behaviors such as anxiety, sadness, and intense emotional longing. These reactions are not signs of weakness, but biological attempts to restore connection and regain emotional safety through reunion. Even when rational understanding accepts the breakup, the attachment system can continue reacting as if the bond still exists. Identity also plays a major role in breakup pain, because long-term relationships often become integrated into a person's sense of self. People do not just lose a partner, they lose shared routines, shared language, future expectations, and parts of their emotional identity. This creates a form of identity disruption where the mind has to rebuild a sense of self outside the relationship structure. During this process, individuals may feel lost, empty, or disconnected from their usual sense of purpose and emotional stability. Memory systems also intensify breakup pain because the brain tends to replay emotionally significant experiences repeatedly after separation. These memories are not passive recollections, but emotionally charged reconstructions that can trigger the same feelings repeatedly in the present. Songs, places, routines, or small triggers can reactivate emotional responses, making the loss feel ongoing rather than completed. This is why healing often feels non-linear, with emotional waves returning even after periods of temporary relief or stability. Another important factor is the human brain's tendency toward attachment persistence, where it resists letting go of important emotional bonds. From an evolutionary perspective, maintaining attachment was critical for survival, so the brain is designed to resist separation strongly. This resistance can manifest as denial, bargaining, or obsessive thinking about the relationship and possible ways to restore it. Even when separation is necessary or healthy, the emotional system may initially treat it as something to be reversed or repaired. Breakups also hurt because they remove a primary source of emotional regulation that the person had become dependent on over time. When that source disappears, the nervous system must suddenly learn to regulate emotions independently, which can feel overwhelming at first. This adjustment period contributes to emotional instability, sleep disruption, and heightened sensitivity to stress during heartbreak. There is also a psychological component, where the mind searches for meaning after loss, trying to understand why the breakup happened. This search often leads to rumination, self-blame, or repeated analysis of past events in an attempt to find emotional closure. However, closure is not always immediate, because emotional systems do not resolve as quickly as intellectual understanding of events. As a result, the mind continues processing long after the relationship has ended, keeping emotional pain active and present. Social and environmental factors can also intensify breakup pain, especially when shared communities, memories, or routines are still present. Seeing reminders of the relationship can prevent emotional detachment from occurring smoothly, prolonging the healing process over time. Even digital spaces like messages or social media can act as emotional triggers that keep the attachment system partially activated. This constant reactivation makes it harder for the brain to fully accept separation as final and emotionally complete. Despite how overwhelming breakup pain feels, it is also a sign of the depth of human attachment and capacity for emotional bonding. The same systems that create intense suffering after loss are the systems that allow love, intimacy, and emotional connection to exist. Without strong attachment capacity, relationships would not feel meaningful, and emotional bonds would not carry such significance in human life. Pain, in this sense, is a reflection of how deeply the brain prioritizes connection as a fundamental part of human experience. Over time, the intensity of breakup pain usually decreases as the brain slowly recalibrates emotional attachment and rebuilds internal stability. Memories lose their emotional charge, daily routines become independent, and the nervous system gradually returns to a balanced state. This process does not mean forgetting, but rather integrating the experience without being overwhelmed by it in the present moment. Healing happens when the mind no longer treats the past relationship as an active source of survival-related emotional response. In the end, breakups feel like physical pain because the brain and body interpret emotional loss as a threat to survival itself. Attachment, reward systems, identity, memory, and stress responses all converge to create an experience that is deeply embodied, not just emotional. What feels like heartbreak is actually the nervous system reacting to the removal of a deeply integrated emotional connection. And over time, that same system also holds the capacity to recover, adapt, and eventually open again to connection and love.